Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Well, I hope. Firstly, allow me to introduce myself so that we get better acquainted, or at least you get to know me a little better. I am Angelique, a young individual, at least so I'm told, in the Mediterranean, but also a member of the Advisory Council of the Mediterranean Citizens Association Foundation. More so, during my academic path, I have specialized in the Euro-Mediterranean Partnership and the Union for the Mediterranean and law. Being Cypriot French, the Mediterranean has always been my home, and its troubles have always been a great part of me. Living in the Mediterranean, as you all know, I'm sure, comes with the enjoyment of this beautiful place, but also with the issues that have been present for so many years and that are still ongoing. Allow me to say that it is certainly unfortunate that I cannot be with you in person for this amazing event which marks the importance of youth in the Mediterranean. However, I will try to convey some of my thoughts on the current situation through this video in the hope that we will soon be able to meet in person. It is no secret that this year has brought upon us an unprecedented experience, leading to a high level of uncertainty and, in some cases, controversy. Although for many years, scientists have been hinting at the possibility of new pandemics occurring, Netflix also says so it must be true, we did not expect and were not in any way prepared for anything of this magnitude. Many people have asked the question why governments, although warned, did not anticipate and did not prepare an adequate response to such a scenario. However, I believe that this question and any such answer at this point is irrelevant since we are way past that. The fact is that we are now facing not only the fear of the pandemic taking on an entirely new form and beginning a new wave, but we are also at the doorstep of a new economic crisis, which is certain to affect younger generations for years to come. Through the evolution of this pandemic, we have lived a long period of lockdown, which undoubtedly affected everyone. However, I do believe that the younger generations saw a greater deal of the psychology being affected. For those young individuals in conflict-free zones, they saw their lives being significantly changed, from being normal adolescents going to school and young adults going to university. They found themselves locked up within the four walls of their houses. This was recognized by many health and mental health organizations as being a very problematic situation for their mental balance. It cannot be stressed out enough how important it is to be able, especially during adolescence and young adulthood, to be in contact with our social circle and have physical contact with our friends and loved ones. Many studies have shown in the past that hugging and the feeling of the touch are significant factors in lessening stress and helping in the boost of happy feelings. And let's be honest, after an age, that is not necessarily needed from parents, but more from the loved ones we have acquired during our lives. But these psychological stresses also have affected young individuals in later stages of their lives, where they found themselves changing their daily lives from waking up in the morning and going to work to having to turn their home into their office. Granted, at the beginning, it was a welcomed break from our daily lives, but in the long run, it became problematic. The home is a space where individuals are used to go in order to relax and enjoy the company of their significant other and friends. When this space suddenly turned into the office and the home at the same time, the balance of their daily lives changed, pushing them to bring into the home their stress of the work. Furthermore, for young adults who have moved on to the stage of cohabitation or marriage, the lockdown we experienced is said to have led to a well-felt change in the balance of the relationships. It is now expected that divorce rates in the following months will increase significantly. Now, taking into account the above, when talking about young individuals in conflict-free zones, Just think about those who are also in conflict zones. Such parts of the Mediterranean are already under a significant amount of stress due to the uncertainty and the fear for their lives. I can only imagine what these young individuals have felt, seeing their potential and dreams taken away from conflict already when this situation came about. Unfortunately, these young individuals are finding themselves in a much more difficult situation than any of us in conflict-free zones, and I strongly believe that as the youth of the Mediterranean, efforts need to be directed towards helping them. I would also like to take up some more of your time to mention the point I made in the beginning with regards to the up-and-coming economic crisis, which unfortunately is sure to arrive. This is a stress that some of the young adults in the Mediterranean have already experienced in the last economic crisis. It is, however, a fact that the one which will follow the pandemic will be greater in effect and last. With 213 countries and territories being affected by the novel COVID-19, many governments were pushed to take action and to support individuals and businesses, leaving economies bleeding, since most of the resources have been spent. As such, it can only be anticipated that governments will most likely not be able to provide as much financial support as they were able to prior to the pandemic. Furthermore, due to the travel restrictions, many businesses, such as those in the tourism industry, have been left with little to no income. The BBC, in an article in June 2020, stated that the FTSE, Dow Jones Industrial Average and Nikkei all saw huge falls as the number of COVID-19 cases grew, which shows the significant impact of this pandemic on the economy. As a result, economists and other financial professionals are anticipating that many micro and small enterprises will shut down, leading to a greater unemployment rate. Already from 2019 to 2020, global unemployment has seen an increase from 187.7 million to 190.3 million unemployed individuals. Here it is important to note that during the peak of the last economic crisis, the International Monetary Fund noted that the number of unemployed individuals had reached and surpassed the number of 210 million, which we seem to be coming close to rapidly. This increase is undoubtedly going to affect youth in the Mediterranean, since either parents or young individuals themselves are more likely to experience job loss or difficulty in finding work after university, creating a less developed workforce, which will enter the job market later than previous generations. Another effect of this potential might also be the lowering of living standards, which will, in effect, affect the psychology of young individuals and potentially their motivation to evolve and innovate. With the above being said, I wouldn't feel I have given you anything leaving you on such a gloom note. As such, having myself experienced the effects of the previous financial crisis, but also a period of prosperity in the Mediterranean prior to that, I believe that as young individuals, we have the power to find solutions. I hope that each and every one of you can find opportunity within the chaos of this situation. Firstly, by allowing yourselves to be aware of what is happening, and secondly, by not falling into the potential of being isolated. Furthermore, do not feel discouraged by this situation and always strive to better yourself, no matter how dark the times might be. Keep safe.